And how's it going, everyone? It is Skullzi here with the latest Bethesda news, rumors, and speculation, and it is Monday, one of the most boring and slow days of the week. Usually a lot of stuff doesn't go down in terms of gaming news and stuff over the weekend. However, I still have quite a few interesting things to talk about in today's video, but some of these I'm going to be going through kind of quick because they don't have inherently that much stuff to break down, but don't worry, they're still worth sharing in today's video and are still very interesting, and there is one very big and basically confirmed discovery regarding what the next ZeniMax Online Studios MMORPG game should be, and it seems like it might be a standalone Starfield MMO set in the same universe as the Bethesda Game Studios single-player game. This is a little bit speculative, but there's some pretty big evidence here that is from ZeniMax Online Studios themselves, and there is a couple of other interesting things I want to talk about in today's video. Some more insider statements about Starfield release date stuff, some speculation, some like deep speculation stuff regarding Starfield, and just a couple other interesting things. But let's not waste any more time and get to today's information, and we're going to start today's adventure right here over on Twitter, because Idle Sloth, someone over on Twitter who retweets gaming news and some pretty interesting stuff, tweeted this out yesterday. You can see they say, check out ZeniMax's artist's portfolio on ArtStation. Their next project could be something sci-fi or even an MMO type based game, and then Idle Sloth links the ArtStation profile for Joseph Watmoh. Man, I probably totally killed the pronunciation on that name. I'm super sorry, Joseph, but they link the ArtStation profile for Joseph here, who is a principal concept artist over at ZeniMax Online Studios, and apparently Titania over on Reset Era discovered this, and you can see some interesting pictures right here immediately, and this is the actual ArtStation profile here. And in case you don't know what ArtStation is, it is a professional website for artists to actually upload their own work, their own artwork, their own creations for games, or just that they did for educative purposes, or just on their own for fun, or to just create stuff and improve their skill set. But basically, this is a website where artists can go upload their work and also look at the work of others, to where they can basically favorite artwork from other artists to use as inspiration for what they're going to create next. It's not taking the artwork from other people, but it's like, hey, I like how this person envisioned a sci-fi city. I'm going to favorite their artwork so I can look at it and maybe make my own sci-fi city based on what I would do with kind of that art style or aesthetic and stuff. And these images right here are actually directly from Joseph himself, meaning he made these images. These images aren't created by other artists. These images right here are underneath his own portfolio here, so these are things he created as concept, and there is some definite space stuff here. In fact, the most recent upload is right here, and it is very, very interesting. If Starfield has this aesthetic, I would be super hyped. And I bring up Starfield for a very important reason, because we know ZeniMax Online Studios is making a next-gen MMORPG of some kind, and this game will be a new IP from ZeniMax Online Studios. However, ZeniMax Online Studios kind of has a set pattern so far. They've made games set in the same universe as a single-player Bethesda Game Studios game. So we have The Elder Scrolls Online, and obviously Bethesda Game Studios has the Elder Scrolls single-player games. And a lot of people don't know this, but ZeniMax Online Studios did help with a small capacity regarding Fallout 76, and obviously Fallout 76 is the multiplayer variant of Fallout, which is another Bethesda Game Studios franchise, although Bethesda Game Studios Austin is inherently the studio behind Fallout 76, so that's kind of like not a good comparison. But my point is, they make the Elder Scrolls Online, so with that in mind, it would make sense for them to make another MMO RPG set in the same universe as a Bethesda Game Studios game. And we know Starfield is coming next from Bethesda Game Studios, so it would make sense for ZeniMax Online Studios to make a Starfield MMORPG standalone game set in the same universe as Starfield. There's actually a lot of evidence to back this up, because there are recent job postings for ZeniMax Online Studios that say that there will be vehicles in the game, and that the AI and NPCs in the game will utilize vehicles as well. So obviously, the game is going to be set in a time period where cars take place, or even spaceships in the future. And judging by this actual concept art from a ZeniMax Online Studio concept artist, it's going to be set in space. We have multiple pictures of space stuff here, spacecraft, and like I've been saying for a long time, I imagine there to be a standalone Starfield MMORPG by ZeniMax Online Studios to launch alongside Starfield as well. This would drive the hype up for the Starfield universe a lot if there's two gigantic games set in universe for people to play. For people that are into multiplayer games, they can play the Starfield MMO. For people that don't like multiplayer, they can stick to the single player game. To people that like both, they'll have two huge games in the same universe. And if Bethesda does a great job with making the universe interesting and worthwhile and attractive to players, bringing people into the universe, wanting to learn more about the universe, then this could be a huge power move by Bethesda. Bethesda, and so far, there is a lot of evidence here to suggest that this is exactly what's going to happen. I mean, I don't know why we would see job postings for this new MMORPG to have vehicles in the game, for NPCs to utilize vehicles as well. But not only that, actual concept art from ZeniMax Online Studio concept artists, I mean, all this combined screams there is at least a space MMO from ZeniMax Online Studios being released some point in the future, and it would make like almost no sense for there to be two brand new IPs from two different Bethesda studios that are nowhere near related to one another. It would make a lot more sense for them to both be in the Starfield universe than for ZOS to have their own space universe and then BGS to have their own space universe, both coming out at the same time. So I think this is some of the biggest evidence to date that there will be a Starfield MMORPG, but it will be a separate game from the game that Bethesda Game Studios is making. There will be the single-player game that will focus on single-player stuff, and then there will be the MMORPG. I think that's can almost low-key be confirmed at this point, because like I said, they're making some kind of space game, and it would make no sense for there to be two space IPs from Bethesda. They have to be related, and they have to be Starfield. But that finishes up the main thing I want to talk about in today's video. The next stuff I'm going to be going through kind of quick, because they are kind of speculative, but there is another post yesterday from Jason Schreier, and you can see basically it's just Jason replying to a Reddit post where the person is saying that, if you think about it, it would make the most sense for Starfield to come out Q4 2022, meaning November of 2022, and Jason basically replies to this person and says, "You're smart, that's a great take, great point, and people should really listen to you," and I agree here. This makes the most sense, like I've been saying over the last week or so. It would make the most sense for Bethesda to release Starfield in November of 2022. I would love for the game to come out in 2021, but based upon all the different inside statements and all the other just stuff that has changed over the last week, it makes the most sense for the game to come out in 2022, and based upon Bethesda patterns and just current releases right now for Xbox, Q4 2022 would make the most sense. Next up, we have a deep dive Reddit post from Oda over on the Starfield subreddit, and you can check this post out for yourself. You can just look up the title here and look up Starfield subreddit if you want to read the whole thing. It's very interesting, but the the TLDR is basically that they believe that this is a terraforming satellite, and this kind of lines up with other research and deep speculation into the Starfield trailer, where people believe we were actually seeing a terraformed Mars, so maybe we're part of some kind of deep space terraforming team that goes forward, gets shot into space somehow, and ends up like an alien territory, and we actually have to settle a planet, settle humanity, do some Mass Effect Andromeda stuff. But this is some deep speculation. I mean, we don't know if that's the case here, but Oda does provide some pretty solid evidence here. If you want to check out all of this for yourself, you can go to the Reddit post yourself. I don't want to take Oda's credit here or anything. It is very interesting, and that's basically the TL Doctor of the entire post anyway. Last thing, Star Citizen is having a free week up until June 3rd, so if you want to kind of dip your foot into what Starfield might be, you can try out Star Citizen for a week. However, that game is an online game from what I understand, so it might be more relative to the Starfield MMO, but it is going to no doubt be a similar experience if the games are what I think they're going to be. No doubt it will be a bit different though, so don't compare it immediately to Starfield, but Star Citizen is an interesting game and an interesting project, so I felt like talking about this in today's video. But that basically finishes up everything I want to talk about in today's video. As always, if you're hyped for Starfield, if you enjoy the content, be sure to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn notifications on. And as always, huge shout out and much appreciation to the following amazing people for going above and beyond to support the channel and bring you content like this. If you want to get a permanent feature video shout out, you can support the channel over on Ko-fi, Patreon, or here on YouTube as an exclusive channel member. I am updating this list right now. Now's your last chance to get added to the next list before I update it again here in a couple weeks. All you have to do is support the channel over on Ko-fi, Patreon, or here on YouTube as an exclusive channel member. Links for all this and more are down in the description below, and as always, thank you for watching. Be sure to tune in next time, when I probably would actually totally dig a Starfield MMO, if it's done right.
It just works.